You know.
We could just.
All right, fire us up. We're doing.
Oh no, we're already recording. Like today,
Oh.
we're talking about excuses on the battlefield to the boardroom, and we're making them. So, welcome to the battlefield of the boardroom. You are here again with Philip Folsom and the Wolf Tribe, and Colonel Garth Massey, and CommandReady. And what we are doing today is talking about 2 tactical tips, each to bring you practical, applicable ideas for your life. And today we're talking about excuses, and we've already burned up 15 minutes of the clock making our own instead of making this video. Philip, why are excuses so darn nice?
I guess I have to own it. You caught me there. You caught me excusing.
I was excusing.
I know. We will always do the easiest things first. It's human nature. We will always take the path of least resistance. That is the ancient coding of every living thing on planet Earth, is to fall back to this lowest state of energy output possible. It's called efficiency, and it's just encoded in our DNA. So all systems tend towards entropy, and which means whether you're talking about a family, fitness, or your projects, we have to recognize that things will always drop back to the lowest level of output required. And our job as leaders of our lives, as well as leaders of families and organizations, is to continually recommit to higher output, more ideal positioning, reclaiming virtue and the high ground, and all of it takes energy. And so that's the first one, to acknowledge this is the terrain, this is the battlefield, and this is who we're dealing with. And Pressfield, the great writer, calls it resistance, and we're fighting against that all the time. So know your enemy. That's my first tip on excuses.
Nice. All right. Well, if we're going to go with that, I have to tell you, my first tip is along the lines of know your enemy, give it a name. I mean, it's part of ownership. You have got to be able to identify the thing that is dragging you down, whether it's fear, whether it's, you're risk averse, whether it's, you're afraid it'll be too successful. I don't know. Whatever your thing is, you got to give it a name. So when I am stalling, when I am not embracing in the work that I should be doing, and I'm on YouTube, or I'm wandering around the house, or I'm eating an extra lunch, or whatever it is, I have to name it. I am procrastinating. I am stalling. I am doing this because I'm afraid of doing the work, or I am afraid of the results, or I'm afraid it'll fail, and fear is a big part of that. But I think giving it the name helps you take ownership of a thing. So when you are making excuses, call it an excuse and identify what part of you is struggling. And I think giving it a name gives you power over it. So that's my number one.
Cool. Let's just keep the chain going, because that's a perfect segue into my number 2 of claiming what it is and owning it. And a lot of the time, really what the core of it is we have a worldview that we are committed to, we are attached to. And that's a tough one, because there's probably something else that we could be doing better. And it's not a free choice. There's going to be a cost attached to choosing something different than the second lunch. And we're always going to defend our position of, well, I deserve this. And you don't know how hard it is. And I'll get to it later. All of those pieces are a philosophical worldview that creates your reality. And the important one here psychologically is it drives meaning. And so the moment we have to surrender our current worldview, we have this gap of loss of meaning until the next behavior steps in. And meaning is a huge thing for people. That this is what's behind how we rationalize and defend our positions. It's pretty hard to look and go, I might be the one that's wrong here, and my behavior may be substandard. And the truth is, it probably is. And so you're going to have to deal with owning that reality and the sudden gut drop of, uh-oh, I have a loss of meaning until the next, big engine kicks in. And so that's obviously a big philosophical piece, but it's very, very relevant to taking a good, honest look at yourself in the mirror and stop defending your crappy behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, then the natural next progression from that is the philosophical difference between Plato and Aristotle, his student. And Plato talked about, being in the cave and finding the true meaning of things and looking for their origin and their best. And there's this great photo of him teaching Aristotle. And in it, he's pointing up to the sky, right? This idea of this perfect, true, known thing. And Aristotle is pointing forward, right? And his response to Plato's, we have to know the truth and the understanding, the deep philosophical thing was like, yeah, that's great, but we also have to do something about it. And so my number 2 is do the work. All the big lofty ideas, the dreams, the goals, all the planning in the world is no good if you don't put it to action. So excuses allow us to spend time spinning. I need one more degree. I need a couple more dollars. I need a few more people to support me. I need 5 more likes on whatever. All of that is Plato. Know the truth, understand all this great stuff, which is good. Philosophy is good. Live it. But eventually, you got to do like Aristotle. You got to say, take that idea and put it to action. If you don't put it to action, it's worthless. So do the work. And that is 2 tips each on our battlefield to the boardroom, tactical 10, making excuses. And man, can this suck you down a sinkhole. It's the old warfare thing where attrition versus maneuver warfare. And the idea of maneuver warfare is don't attack a surface. Like if the enemy is there and they have all their cannons and all their guns and you charge at it, you might call back to the boss and saying, we are making a noble attack. We are charging. We're doing great things. And that's cool, but you're also dying in droves. Don't do that. Like stop banging your head against the excuses and go around and find the gap and work your way through that and get started. I don't know, warfare. All right. Well, that keeps us well under 10 minutes. Thank you for joining us today. And a couple hot tips for you if you're ready, if you've made it this far, if you're that serious and that engaged. Philip and I both have great programs that are stepping stones to get you to action, both in person and virtually. If you're up for a challenge, Philip's got the K4 group, and it's a big accountability group. It's a chance to kind of reflect and be around men, learning manly virtue stuff. And most importantly, like understanding how you fit and what your role and responsibility is. And Philip, I don't mean to steal the stage and tell about your program, but it is impressive how it has grown. There are hundreds of men now participating, and you're online, and then where it's applicable, they can come together in groups. And if you're ready to go one step beyond that, next week launches our Forged in 84 program with CommandReady. This one is tough. You cannot do this by yourself. You must form what we call fire teams, 4-person team. You and your friends can sign up, or you and your coworkers can sign up. And not only do you learn leadership and life lessons and build good habits, but you also practice it. The system, the program is designed to let you lead in the process. There is no better way to learn than to teach it, because you got to know the material. So both great things. Check us out in the links below, or put a comment if you've already graduated, or reach out to us on LinkedIn. We've been getting a lot of direct messages that way. So if you're looking for something to help you do the work, to kick you into gear, check out a program.
And avoid excuses.
Yeah. You know what? Just do it right now, because if you wait until later, we are moving into entropy. All right, buddy.
Have a great week, man. Always good.
Yep.
See you, brother.